I've actually pulled up a presentation I did a while ago as a base for our discussion. It was something I did in a workshop environment, but I think it will quite nicely fit in with what we're talking about. Last time I looked at this presentation, it was 2020. It's now 2023, so another 4 million people have joined in Australia. So there's quite a lot of people, and it's mainly professionals that are on LinkedIn. As mediators, if you get your marketing right, you'll get end user clients coming straight to you, as Marnie demonstrated. However, professional referrals is a really strong source of mediation work as well. And for those that are looking at workplace, networking with HR and those sorts of teams, looking at what's going on within those types of discussion groups is a really good place to get ideas for content and also to make those direct connections. The picture of worldwide use of LinkedIn, more than 930 million members. It got acquired by Microsoft in 2016, so it's got all the power of Microsoft behind it, and it's sustaining. It was first founded in 2003, so it's been around a long time for social media. We're really talking about those business connections that can turn into referral relationships. This was from my old presentation, so I don't know if this is still current. I don't know if anyone actually has anyone engaged with Instagram or some of those sorts of platforms.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's your feeling about it? What sort of response are you?
A lot of general chatter, I suppose. Yeah, I haven't really received any specific call outs or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I have, but it's been from people in America, which doesn't help me at all.
No.
Yeah, I think they're putting effort into LinkedIn rather than Instagram.
Yeah.
Presence, but yeah, I wouldn't be. I've chosen not to.
Yeah.
Spend
No.
time.
So have I. And look, there's probably a space for it, but I think most of us really need to conserve our resources and really think about how can we get the most effective influence from the time we spend on that sort of thing. Those that can, and some of you on phones might find it a little bit hard, and certainly don't do this if you are driving. Google your name now. Open up a window and Google it. So do you come up on LinkedIn as one of the early things? You should be okay, Wendy, because you've got a fairly unique name. If your name's very generic, it might be harder.
Yes, mine came up straight away.
Good. Yeah, you too, Marnie. I can see you, everyone. So you see, if someone's looking for you, then someone said, "Oh, this person's quite good." Hey, Roz, welcome. We're just talking about professional profile and building your professional practice. And what I've asked people to do is just search for yourself on Google and see if your LinkedIn profile comes up. So for most people, it will. Someone looking for you that's had maybe a bit of referral, they're most likely going to find your LinkedIn profile, and then they'll be able to have a look and get a bit of a feel for who you are. I'm a bit cheeky, and it's quite annoying the way I've got my name, but it's Joanne Law is in my first name and Mediation Institute Australia is my last name. And that's why it comes up at branding my business. So you can do that, or you don't have to. It looks a bit off. I feel bad when I see myself, someone tags me, but there's not a lot of doubt what my business is. With your banner, I've taken a bit of a different approach and just created a quote and some water. But Just take the time to make your background. Please have a photo. LinkedIn is about professional profiles. Have your photo. Unless you've got a really solid reason, either a security reason or cultural reason that you don't want to have your photo, have a photo, and if not, have something that represents you. Don't have your kids in it. This is a professional network. And really, after we finish, just have a look at your profile and see what it says. For those that are transitioning, you can start sharing that you're on this journey, why you're attracted to mediation, how you've gone from building to mediation, how you've gone from education to mediation. Sometimes people think, oh, well, I have to just delete all that old stuff. Don't. Transition. We're in 2023. Everybody expects you're going to have multiple careers. It's not. Oh, they didn't stick to one thing for 60 years. That's not our world anymore. It's a strength. If you can build from where you've come to where you are now. For me, before I was working in business improvement and business process improvement, lean manufacturing and all of that sort of thing, and training. So my interest in training flowed through, but with my business background, I noticed the conflict, which got me interested in mediation and then family dispute resolution through my husband's legal firm, thinking, oh, there's got to be a better way. And then that led to where I am. It matters how many connections you have. Is there anyone who's got less than 500 connections? You don't have to out yourself, but your job is to increase it to more than 500. 501 connections is the same as 5 million connections, as far as anyone outside can see. If you've got less than 500 connections, it says how many connections you've got, which shows that you're not connected, basically. And so that would be, for anyone who's less than 500, that would be the goal, to make the connections, work a little plan of who you want to connect with, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. So that's one thing to talk a little bit more about. And look, as I'm going through, so things that you want us to have a look at a little bit more, just raise them as we're going. So it's not like Facebook. These people don't need to be your friends, but curating your connections, connecting with people will affect what you see, your stream, and that's going to bring up things that are of interest. For me, when I was growing my connection, what I look for is posts or things that people are sharing that are interesting, and make a comment on it and then ask to connect, so that you're not just randomly headhunting. These are people that you think, oh, this would be good. So people in your industry, but if you're thinking you're going to target a particular area, so for you, Ange, it would be people in the neurodiverse community that you'd be looking to connect with.
Yes.
For you, that would be, because then when you share content about the modifications that you need to make in mediation for when you're working with people that are neurodiverse, they're all going to say, oh, wow, someone who gets it.
Yes.
And that's really powerful. Then you'll find you're getting invitations to connect from there.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you noticed that sort of little pattern happening?
I have, more so on Facebook, because I've been able to join my business profile with lots of groups. And so groups are very active in those spaces, and I'm able to impart some of my experience and contribute my education in content, etc.
Absolutely. Facebook groups are excellent for end users. LinkedIn groups are really good for categories of people. So there's some really active HR groups. So if that's an area that you're targeting workplace conflict, then joining the LinkedIn HR groups would be a good idea. They're not managed by a business, they're people at a professional role sort of thing.
Yes. I've been really lucky with my HR background that I already had those networks established, which was awesome.
Which is very good. Yeah. It's a little bit judgmental of me, but I tend to categorize HR into two groups. One is compliance-minded people, and then the other are the people and culture people who are part of the leadership team and who are really important in the business, trying to create a cohesive culture. So they're the ones you need to find.
Yes, and I've also found the health area as well, health and wellbeing with employee assistance programs, etc.
Absolutely.
That's also a good
Yeah.
in.
Absolutely. So that's a trend that's happening now over the last 10 years. Employee assistance programs used to be completely just counselling, like that was it. But now a lot of them have dispute resolution, or they're interested in dispute resolution as part of it. So some it's already there and there's contract roles often with that, but others they're still interested, not necessarily invested yet. If that makes sense. Has anyone else got any HR notice that? And Ros, you didn't get a chance to introduce yourself, but I know you're an experienced mediator at the national accredited level, and feel free to share if there's any trends that you've noticed or whatever. One of the things that I wanted to mention is content, creating articles and posts and things like that on LinkedIn. There's an option called creator mode, which if you have that on, it gives you more tools that are available. So if you haven't got that turned on, look for creator mode. I'd have to search to remember where it was with content. And it doesn't matter if you're doing the course, like there's stuff that while you're training that you're thinking, oh, wow, that's become clear to me. Share it. That creates the journey that you're on. It doesn't matter what stage you're at, no more than the general public. So if you're going to have a niche, then definitely link quite solidly to that niche. And you shared that you've got two areas that you're looking at. One's the FIFO workers, where you can't make a simple little parenting plan of every this, because their life is not like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And normalizing that, and it's not about blame, it's about this is the reality, and how you're going to make it work for your children so that they keep those relationships strong. These are a couple of things that I thought we could talk about. We've done introductions, but sometimes when I'm talking about content creation, people say, what do you mean to write a book? No. Look, I must admit I get very busy and I don't do things regularly on a scheduled basis. I tend to just be opportunistic. When I see something that would be good to share, I'll share it, or if something's happened, I'll share it. If I had time and I was still building, then what I would be doing is making a plan and getting a bit of a regular approach to sharing our content and looking at what did get a response, what didn't. I'll talk a little bit more about the Dispute Resolution Agency. There's a meeting on Thursday night, which is really looking at trying to bring peer support together around this process of building your practice. One thing I wanted to remind you is that LinkedIn has got a vested interest in you successfully using LinkedIn because that's what's going to keep them alive and growing as a platform and tempting you into paying for upgraded views and services and what have you. Is anyone using the paid version of Profiles or have done that? No. I've been tempted from time to time. I don't think it's really worth it. Who cares seeing every single person that's looked at your profile? Even on the free, it shows you some. So if someone's looked at your profile and there's someone you think you'd like to connect with, that's a good prompt to do a connection request, eh? So once a week going in, having a look at who's looked at your profile, yeah, I'll connect with these ones. The more connections that you have, the easier it is to connect with people because they're a second level connection. Because I've got about 9,000 connections, somewhere like that. Most of the people that I want to connect with, I'm I'm a second degree connection, because some of my people are well connected in our industry as well. So everyone connect with me. If you're not, I'll let you look through my second degree people. That's how it works. If someone's very, very far removed, which is probably 4 levels for anyone in the world, you have to have a paid account to send an in thing. I don't bother. Does that make sense? Any questions or thoughts about that whole connections business? And while you're thinking about your questions, what I was saying is LinkedIn has some good posts. So, 10 content ideas. So just Google LinkedIn content creation ideas. Go for the LinkedIn stuff. They know their platform. There's plenty of marketers that are putting out content about how to do that as well. If you are wanting to create a plan around this, so this is something that you're really wanting to build, set a goal. So is it connections? Is it, if you've got time, then having those coffee chats or whatever, that might be something that you're looking to do. If you're approaching people that you think might be good potential referrers, be really clear. I'm building my referral list. I'd like to find out a little bit more about your business and how you work to make sure that I'm able to to connect with the right clients. That'd be the approach I'd use, Marnie, if you're looking for more lawyers, because you want the non-adversarial lawyers that you can send someone to for legal advice, and they're not going to suddenly say, oh, mediation's off, we're going to court. But you might want a few of the other type as well. So if you've got a particularly vulnerable client where you've got someone who's abusing the process that needs to go to court, you need to know who are the lawyers that you think would do a reasonable job as well. But yeah, that's always my approach, and it's true. I'm looking to build my referral network in a particular area or a particular way, and also I'm going to tell them about what I do and who are the sort of clients that would be best to send to me. Your assumption would always be to have an existing referral network. Use the Swiss cheese model. The Swiss cheese model, they've got holes in it. At one point along the way, the normal people they refer to are all going to be busy or available or on holidays or whatever. And then, oh yeah, I'll give that money a go, or Roz or whoever. The goal is to keep in people's consciousness. And that's why I'm saying create content, because it'll flow past. If they're connected to you, it'll flow past. They'll say, oh yeah, that's right. She's that one that works with the neurodiverse people, or she's the one that works with the FIFO people, or the builders. She gets the building industry. As I was saying, we've got a peer support networking type event that Will Chalmers is going to be leading on Thursday, so feel free to come along there. And for anyone who's interested in litigation style mediation, one of our and mass mediators is doing a presentation next Tuesday looking at the difference between the type of mediation that happens in the litigation settlement conference style mediating and what you learn as an mass mediator. So I think that'll be quite interesting as well. Like and subscribe to get more content like this, and join the network.mediationinstitute.edu.au to join in the discussion.